Hello guys, this is Trumpet with an I am Pani, and today I'll be reviewing Pokemon Omega Ruby, which just came out a few weeks ago.
Whoops!
Trumpet. So here's the case. We got a picture of Grid on the front. The colouring around it is red, which is to represent Ruby, the colour of Ruby. Pokemon Y is white, because it's just standard. And I believe that Nintendo decided to make the casing red to compensate for the lack of having the actual game cart being red, like they had in the original Game Boy Advanced. But I think that's the only disappointment I've had of this game. This game really is fantastic. It is probably my favourite Pokemon game up to date. One of the newest features I'd like to talk about first is this ability to be able to fly over the region of Hoenn on the back of Latios or Latias, depending which version you get. Now, this is probably the coolest thing in the game, because not only do you get to do really cool tricks in the air by pressing various buttons, you can fly without having a member in your party having to know the HM of fly. So this is really good because it's just a key item and you get to fly around. And you can land anywhere. You can land here in Sutopolis City, you can land on routes, and it's really cool. One of the greatest things about being able to fly over Hoenn is that you can enter areas that you can't normally access through flying or surfing. And in these areas contain legendary Pokemon, which is great. This is fantastic because each game allows you to capture every single legendary from all across every single region. Now, I've had every single copy of Pokemon, so I've captured pretty much all the legendaries. But there are some Pokemon, like Reshiram, who I haven't captured, and Ruby version really assists people capturing the rest of the legendaries, but is also good for any person who wants to start their very first Pokemon game, because it allows them to capture every legendary in existence, pretty much. A new game mechanic, new to the region of Hoenn, but not new to the 6th generation of Pokemon, is the ability to Mega Evolve halfway through a battle. So how that works is basically there's a limited amount of Pokemon who hold an item, and they click the Mega Evolve button before they want to use a move, and they basically turn into legendaries halfway through a battle. You can only do one Mega Evolution per match, and you can have as many Pokemon as you want holding the item. Mega Evolution adds a new dynamic to battling, but it also adds a new dynamic to Pokemon contests, which we're going to go into now. For those who have played the original Pokemon Ruby and Pokemon Sapphire and Emerald, Pokemon contests work basically exactly the same. The only difference is that you, instead of getting the judge's appeal, you aim for the audience's appeal. Moves work exactly the same. There's the different ranks, different categories, normal rank, there's the beauty category. And you can now Mega Evolve halfway through a contest by achieving the 5 stars from the audience, which is really cool. And also you can take photos which will be later saved to your SD card halfway through. The only thing is that you're going to take one photo, and yeah. Now that we're still on the topic of Pokemon contests, I'd like to touch on a feature which was lost, which I was actually quite upset about, which was the ability to make Pokeblocks with a fun mini-game. They kind of made it really simple now. All you have to do is put the 4 berries in, click the blend button, and that's what happens. So that's one fun mini-game which was completely lost, which I loved to do as a kid. One thing I really hate about the game is that it now needs to load between cities and routes. This was never a problem with old Ruby version. As you can see here, it was a smooth transition. There was a slight glitch, but that was just the loading. There was no need for silly transitions like this. I don't know why Nintendo can't take advantage, Game Freak can't take advantage of the hardware of the 3DS, but it just ruins the experience overall. But that is in no means any deal breaker. The game is still fantastic. Now take a look at this Pokedex. Isn't that cool? It looks exactly like a Game Boy Advance. That is probably one of the best nod-offs to the game. But what is perhaps even better, an original nod-off to the game, is the opening. I wasn't able to record it, but it's a good thing I didn't, because I don't want to spoil it for you. You've just got to buy the game, and you're going to freak out, because this is the best opening to any Pokemon game. So secret bases are now back. So we've got our own Trumpet base here, and it's really great because you can now give people your base through the Street Pass function, and you can also create a QR code to give to your friends so they can download it if they're on the other side of the world. And secret bases are great because you can, basically set up your own gym, And yeah, it's great. It's exactly how it was back in the original versions, except it's now much easier to get your friends, because what you would have to do is not only get a link cable, but you'd have to go to the Pokemon Center and then click Mix Records, and that would be very inconvenient, and I think I only did it once. But now, I'm finding myself finding bases every single day, new ones, because not only does it do Street Pass, it also does Spot Pass through the internet. So every time you connect to the internet, you find a new base, and it's really cool. Now I thought I'd just like to wrap up the video by showing some comparison shots between similar locations. As you can see, the music is different, but also in a good way. I was really disappointed how they didn't have the same thing in Soul Silver, where you could switch with a key item to change to the old music. I hope that comes in a new update, because Pokemon now updates through the internet, so there's also downloadable content, there's also mystery gifts, so I really hope they make that happen in the future, so we can have the original music. So to wrap this up, guys, I'm going to give Pokemon Omega Ruby 9.5 trumpets out of 10, because it's such a fantastic game. You've got all these secret bases, which is great for the connectivity. You've got the 3D battles. It builds on the things that Pokemon Y did well, and it gets rid of the things that Pokemon Y did really bad. And yeah, it's just a fantastic game, and I highly recommend it. Thanks for seeing through that, guys. Hit that like button if you liked it. Hit the dislike button if you disliked it. That gives me an indication of how I'm going. Write down in the comments your own opinions, and what would you prefer to get, Alpha Sapphire or Omega Ruby? And yeah, hit that subscribe button if you want to. You don't have to. It's just so it's easier, so you don't have to type in our name every single time. And you get notified when we make a new video. And like our page on Facebook. And yeah. Woo.